Hello students, today's topic is temporal and infratemporal fossa. So you are viewing the skull from the lateral side. So first of all, let's revise the bone which is visible in norma lateralis. We starting from the anterior side. This is a nasal bone, this is frontal, zygomatic, this is maxilla, mandible with the body and ramus. This is zygomatic arch. This is greater wing of sphenoid. This is a squamous part of the temporal bone and the mastoid part of the temporal bone along with the external acoustic meatus. This is parietal bone and the last one, that is a occipital bone. Coming back to temporal and infratemporal fossa, the temporal fossa is situated above the zygomatic arch, while the infratemporal fossa is situated below the zygomatic arch. For better understanding of infratemporal fossa, let's articulate mandible with the skull. So, this is our infratemporal fossa and this is temporal fossa. Let's begin with the temporal fossa. The temporal fossa is having its upper limit, lower limit, anterior wall and posterior limit. Plus it is having a one floor. So the upper limit of the temporal fossa, it is formed by the temporal lines. The temporal line, it begins from the frontozygomatic suture. Then the line, it arches upward and backward. It crosses the frontal bone, then it crosses the coronal suture and then passes over the parietal bone. Over the parietal bone, the line, it splits into the two, into the superior temporal line which is fades away on the posterior side and prominent inferior temporal line. This inferior temporal line passes forward and downward and it is continuous with the prominent ridge above this mastoid process which is called supramastoid crest. And this supramastoid crest is continuous anteriorly with the posterior root of the zygomatic arch. So, the superior boundary, it is formed by the temporal line. Posteriorly, the temporal fossa, it is limited by the inferior temporal line and below over here supramastoid crest. Lower limit of temporal fossa is formed by the upper border of zygomatic arch on the lateral side, while medially it is formed by the infratemporal crest of greater wing of sphenoid bone. So you can appreciate this is a greater wing of sphenoid bone. This is its infratemporal surface and the outer margin, this border is called the infratemporal crest of sphenoid bone. You can appreciate over here. This is the infratemporal crest of sphenoid bone. And this is a entire greater wing of sphenoid bone. So view from below, the lower limit of temporal fossa is formed by the zygomatic arch on the lateral side, while the infratemporal crest of greater wing of sphenoid on the medial side. The same thing, the view from above, you can again appreciate laterally formed by the zygomatic arch, its upper border, and medially by the infratemporal crest of greater wing of the sphenoid bone. And you can also appreciate there is a gap between the zygomatic arch and the side of the skull. So through this gap, the temporal fossa is communicate with the infratemporal fossa, and this gap is also transmit the tendon of temporalis muscle, and this muscle is passes through the gap and inserted over the coronoid process of the mandible. Anterior wall of the temporal fossa, is formed by temporal surface of zygomatic bone, part of the frontal bone and the sphenoid bone. This anterior wall separates the temporal fossa from the orbit. Now, the temporal surface of the zygomatic bone, which forming the anterior wall of the temporal fossa, is having a small foramen. So, this small foramen is called zygomaticotemporal foramen. Now, the same foramen from the below, this is a zygomaticotemporal foramen. I am showing the same foramen on the opposite side also. So, you can appreciate this is zygomaticotemporal foramen, and again from the below. Temporal surface of zygomatic bone having a small foramen, zygomaticotemporal foramen. Now, this foramen is transmit the nerve of the same name, that is a zygomaticotemporal nerve. Zygomaticotemporal nerve is a branch from the zygomatic nerve. Zygomatic nerve in turn branch from the maxillary nerve, and as you know, maxillary nerve is a division of the trigeminal nerve. So, the maxillary nerve is continuous as the infraorbital nerve. The infraorbital nerve gives one of the branch, that is a zygomatic nerve. This zygomatic nerve it divide into the two branch. One branch appears in the front and passes through this foramen, that is a zygomaticofacial foramen, and another branch passes back through the zygomaticotemporal foramen, that is a zygomaticotemporal nerve. So, over here you can appreciate there are the two foramen, zygomaticofacial in front, zygomaticotemporal behind, and then both the foramen passes the nerve of the same name. Floor of the temporal fossa is formed by the frontal, parietal, squamous temporal and the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, and as you can see in the anterior part there lies a H-shaped suture. So, the suture is formed by the squamous part of the frontal bone, parietal bone, squamous temporal bone, and this is a greater wing of the sphenoid bone. The meeting point of all the four bone is called the pterion. Pterion is an important landmark which is frequently asked in exam, and it is also important surgically. This bony point is situated 2.5 cm behind the frontozygomatic suture and 4 cm above the midpoint of the zygomatic arch. Deep to the pterion there lies middle meningeal vein, anterior division of the middle meningeal artery, and stem of the lateral sulcus of the brain, which is also called Sylvian point. Beside this, the anterolateral angle of the parietal bone is a site for the anterolateral fontanelles. This side of the skull is thin. So, due to any road traffic accident, if there is a fracture of skull, that leads to rupture of the middle meningeal vessels, and that leads to accumulation of the blood between the skull and the dura mater, which is called the extradural hemorrhage, and that leads to compression over the motor area of the brain, and that also leads to paralysis on the opposite side of the body. So, to remove the clot, there is a surgical procedure is done which is called burr hole surgery or trephining. So, pterion is a site for the burr hole surgery or the trephining for the removal of the extradural hematoma or any aneurysm, or to approach the Sylvian fissure of the brain. Let's quickly revise the boundary of temporal fossa. So, temporal fossa bounded above by the temporal line. So, upper limit is superior temporal line, posteriorly limited by the inferior temporal lines, below and behind by the supramastoid crest, below and in front, laterally by the upper border of the zygomatic arch, while medially by the infratemporal crest of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. its anterior wall is formed by the temporal surface of the zygomatic plus frontal and the sphenoidal bone. Anterior wall separates the temporal fossa from the orbit, and it is having a one foramina, that is a zygomaticotemporal foramen, which passes the nerve of the same name. The floor is having a H-shaped suture which is formed by the frontal, parietal, squamous temporal and the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. This meeting point is called the pterion. Pterion is a very important bony landmark anatomically and surgically. Attachment on the temporal fossa. The floor of the temporal fossa gives attachment to the temporal fascia and the temporalis muscle. The temporal fascia is attached on the superior temporal line and the area between the superior and inferior temporal line above, while below it is attached on the outer and inner lip of the upper border of zygomatic arch, while the entire temporal fossa except the part which is formed by the zygomatic bone is gives attachment to the temporalis muscle, and deep to the temporalis muscle there lies a deep temporal vessels and nerve. So the tendon of temporalis along with the deep temporal vessels and nerve, they are passing through the gap between the skull and the zygomatic arch. The content of temporal fossa is fan-shaped temporalis muscle along with its covering temporal fascia, the deep temporal nerve and vessels, the auriculotemporal nerve and superficial temporal artery.